Hey everyone, it's Aaron back with another tablet review. So I picked up the brand new Samsung Galaxy Tab A7 Lite when it was first released, and I've been using it for a few weeks now, and there are some things that I love and some things that I'm not so fond of. So I just want to tell you what I'm liking after a few weeks of usage, give you my full review, and tell you who I'd recommend this to. So a few months back, I reviewed the original Galaxy Tab A7, and I'll put a link to that video on the top right corner here. But this new Galaxy Tab A7 Lite comes in a smaller form factor at 8.7 inches. So I'm quickly just going to show you the unboxing I did a few weeks ago. Opening the box up, you can see the Tab A7 Lite right on top here, covered in a cloth. Taking it out of the cloth, and the first thing you notice is the build quality here. For a $150, $160 tablet, this does feel very nice, and at the same time, it's extremely light. It just feels really comfortable to hold, especially if you're planning on using this for long periods of time. And we'll get more into the tablet in just a minute. Underneath the tablet, you have your white wall charger and white USB-C cord. And in the other box here, you just have your quick start guide and an SD card opening tool. All right, before I get into my full review, let's just rattle off some specs on this Tab A7 Lite. Again, it has an 8.7-inch 1340 by 800 pixel display. It has that octa-core processor. You can get it in either 32 or 64 gigs of storage and 3 or 4 gigs of RAM. It supports Wi-Fi 5, not Wi-Fi 6, has Bluetooth 5, and there is an LTE option. For cameras, you have an 8 megapixel rear camera and a 2 megapixel front camera. For a battery, you have a 5100 milliamp hour battery, and it weighs just 0.8 pounds. And it comes running Android 11. And pricing starts at $159. So this is clearly a budget tablet meant to compete with things like the Fire HD tablets. Lenovo has a few tablets in this price range. And then all the other off-market brands that you can find on marketplaces. And that's what I'm going to be comparing this A7 Lite to, because I like to tell you how to get the best bang for your buck. And to do that, you really have to compare apples to apples, because if you start comparing budget tablets to pro tablets, you're going to look at the specs and say this thing is far inferior to those, which it is. But when you factor in the price and how you're going to use it, you may be better off saving some money if a budget tablet will still do everything you want it to do. Okay, let's start with the physical design of this tablet, because it's something that I actually quite like about it. It's got a nice metal chassis that feels premium. Comes in two colors, this darker gray and then a silver color. Just a single Samsung logo on the back like most of their tablets. On one side you have a microphone, volume rocker, and on-off sleep button. On the top you just have a speaker grill. On the bottom you have your headphone jack, a USB-C charging port, another microphone, and then another speaker grill. And then on the other side you just have your SD card holder. Now the nice thing about this SD card reader is that it can read cards up to 1 terabyte. However, just like its big brother, the Tab A7, you're not able to move apps onto your expandable storage. And that's key to know, because that might help you choose between getting the 32 gigabyte model or the 64. Moving on to the display. So for the bezels, you have nice thin bezels on the side here. The top and bottom are a little bit bigger. However, I don't mind this, because when you're holding this in landscape mode, like you typically are, it gives you a nice place to put your thumbs while not being too intrusive. The screen is not laminated, there is a small air gap. The display again is 8.7 inches at 1340 by 800 pixels, which is just a little bit over 720p, so technically it is HD. But you're definitely going to notice some pixelation compared to some of the full HD tablets out there and higher resolution displays. It's not what I would call a bad display. You can definitely see some fuzziness in the texts, and there is quite a bit of ghosting while you scroll. But for the most part, when you're doing things like watching videos or playing games, the screen is just fine. It does get decently bright as well. Using this indoors is no problem. Using it outdoors can be done if you stay out of direct sunlight. So like I said, the display is okay, it's not bad, but it's definitely not the best. One thing I do want to call out, because it is kind of a big issue, especially if you're someone that wants to stream a lot of content on this device, is the Widevine L3 issue. When I open up Netflix on the Tab A7 Lite, it recognizes this tablet as Widevine L3, so you're only able to stream content at 480p, which is the lowest setting, and it doesn't look great. It looks really grainy, really pixelated. Now the interesting thing is that when I open up DRM info, it classifies this tablet as a Widevine L1, which means you should be able to stream at the highest settings, but Netflix shows this as Widevine L3, so I'm not sure where the disconnect is. I know that there are some phones out there that have this issue as well that Google is working on, but just to be clear, as of this review, Netflix has classified this as Widevine L3, so you're only able to stream at 480p. The speakers on this tablet are quite nice. I'm actually really surprised at how good they are. There's 2 stereo speakers and it supports Dolby Atmos. Voices sound really clear. Music sounds great. There isn't a ton of bass, but most tablets in this price range don't have a ton of bass anyway. Overall, I'm really impressed with the speakers. The cameras are pretty good as well. Again, you have the 8 megapixel rear facing camera, the 2 megapixel front facing camera that does have facial recognition, which is a nice touch. And they're plenty fine taking a quick photo or doing video chats or web conferencing. Battery life has also been really good in my opinion. Now, battery life always depends on how you use your tablet, what sort of brightness settings you have it on, what you're doing with it. Are you playing a lot of games, a lot of multitasking and that sort of thing, where the processor is really having to work? But in my experience, I'm able to get between 12 and 14 hours of usage on this tablet before I have to charge it up. And this tablet typically isn't something you're going to be using for that amount of time in one sitting. So I've found that I really only have to charge this about once a week if I'm using this between 1 and 2 hours a day. For the processor, you have an octa-core processor in here. It's a MediaTek MT8768 processor. It has 4 cores that are clocked in at the 2.3 gigahertz, and then the other 4 cores are clocked in at 1.8 gigahertz, which actually is a little bit better than the Tab A7 that maxed out at just 2 gigahertz. And again, you can get it in 3 or 4 gigs of RAM. I got the 3 gigs of RAM, and overall, performance is very similar to the Tab A7. Most of your day-to-day tasks will run just fine, and you won't experience much lag, stuttering, or freezing. But if you try to start pushing this with a lot of multitasking, a lot of heavy or intensive gaming, that's when you'll start to see some lag, some jitteriness, and some freezing going on. Most of the games from the Play Store run just fine, but playing things like Asphalt 9 or Call of Duty, I have experienced some freezing, and it has crashed a few times in my couple weeks of testing. And I'm not saying this as a bad thing. In fact, I would say 90% of the time, this tablet runs very smoothly and plays games very well. But if you're someone that needs the best gaming experience out there, this tablet probably won't be the option for you. And it's pretty clear as to who this tablet is for. And that's for people that just want a lightweight secondary device that they can put their laptop down, grab a tablet, quickly surf the internet, quickly check their email, watch a show, watch a movie, play a game, or read a book, because that's exactly what this tablet is for. It's an entertainment and a content consumption device. It's not trying to be a professional tablet or your main gaming console. It's trying to be your secondary device that you can easily bring on the go. And the nice thing is, because this is a smaller tablet and it comes in at a budget-friendly price, this is a good option for kids as well to help with their learning, and something that a parent can easily bring on the go for car rides and things like that. The only thing that's holding me back from giving this tablet a full recommendation is that Widevine L3 issue. Streaming content at 480p is just not a great experience. And I feel like a lot of people are going to use this tablet to use streaming platforms like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, and Hulu. So I hope they get that figured out, and I think they will, because like I said, the DRM info app says that this is Widevine L1. So there's some sort of disconnect between Android and those streaming platforms right now that hopefully can be patched up with a software update. Alright everyone, I'm going to wrap up this video now. I hope this helps you make a buying decision or get some more information about this tablet. If you're interested in this tablet, check out the link in the description below where you can get more information or buy it if you wish. For my channel call out on this video, I want to call out Andy's Tech Tone. Andy does a lot of great reviews on tech, and he does a lot of comparison videos and just puts together really great content. So go check him out and subscribe to his channel. Alright guys, thanks again for watching, and like always, I'll catch you on the next video.